What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I want to do a couple little odds and ends here, mainly starting off with the battery. I got this ground cable. I'm just going to sort this out real quick and then take it back out of the car, then go on from there. Nothing too fancy. It's just a clamp I got on Amazon, shortened up the cable with some heat shrink and a cable end, and then finished it off with a nice piece of brass. And then I'm going to go ahead and fit in the rest of this wiring that's here on the table. And I think I'm going to start with the fuse panel first. If I can locate that in a good spot in the car, then I'll can kind of like rewire or lengthen, shorten everything to that specific thing. And I have a piece of DOM pipe or a piece of hand railing pipe, and what I did was I cut out a little section of it just so it keeps like a little bit of roundness, and basically I'm just going to stick it over part of the roll cage, and it fits ever so flush, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to just kind of build off of that, see if I can't make something to hold the fuses and the relays, stuff like that. But there's still some other fun stuff we can do here. Mainly I got my blinkers, my front blinkers I got in the mail, so we can put those in. I think we'll start with that. In a little bit of the free time I had at my house, I went ahead and I made my badge for my oil cap here, and it came out pretty good. I'm happy with this. The logo itself, I found something similar online and I just kind of tweaked it and changed some of the coloring on it. And then I was able to get a few stickers made, and then I threw some epoxy on top just to give it that beveled edge. And then we just epoxied it right to the top of the oil cap here. It came out really good. All right, and here are the indicators I got for the car here. And to me, they look exactly the same. They're identical. There is a right and a left, but honestly, I can't even tell the difference. They look exactly the same. I mean, maybe someone can tell me. But anyways, I'm not going to use these barrel connectors here. I'm just going to simply snip them off. I'm going to do a different type of connector here. And I guess I'll keep them the full length for now. They don't really have to be too short. So we'll get those chopped off. Alrighty, what do we got to do here? Give them a little strippy. Now it would be nice to do like a two pin plug with these, but these have separate holes in the front of the grill, so you got to do one plug per wire, and that's all right. I actually put these on backwards. I don't do the single plugs quite often, so I forget how these go. Yeah, they go that way. Okay. For me, I like to just give these a little crimp first right there, just to kind of hold it all in place. And then I'll come back with these guys, and I'll just give them a quick crimp. I just work my way right to the tightest one. And then this is the style connector that I'm using here. Although I need a flathead screwdriver, because these things they got these stupid clips on the side here that make it difficult. Here we go. You just push it into you hear a little click, then you know it's good. All right, so that's that one. I'll do the reverse one right here. You don't want to put the same style plug on each wire here, then you run the risk of connecting them in the wrong terminals. Nice and tight. Yeah, so it's got these little clips here, one on each side. You gotta bend them out with your fingers and kind of pain in the ass. Oh, there we go. And that's all that is. And these lights, I guess they just ground up to the chassis. Because on my wiring loom, I have 3 wires, and I know what the brown one is a ground. So I'm guessing I'm just going to ground it to the back of the stud here. But I got these 2 in line, so that's good. Alrighty, so these are the 2 holes I was kind of telling you before. Why you have to use single plugs, so you can do 1 wire here and 1 in the other hole here. I guess you could make a slit, and then you could do a 2-pin connector, but yeah, I don't really want to cut a hole in that or a slot in that if I don't have to. Now I'm not going to tighten these fully all the way. I'm just going to get them really like snugged. I just don't want to crank them down all the way. But good enough so where they don't go anywhere, you know what I mean? All right, this should be good for that one. And I'll do the other side real quick. Alright, so these holes are off a little bit, probably from when I welded these panels together way back when. I'm guessing they just kind of smushed together a little bit when I did these passes here. So I'm just going to home out these holes just a smidge. And then it should fit. All right, golden. Alrighty, here's my blinker plug here. We'll get this stripped and ready to go. Get rid of this factory Audi plug here. The middle one's the ground, says brown wire. That's what I mean. I think I'm just gonna have to ground those lights out to the the chassis themselves. It actually already is grounded, but I'm gonna run this wire to the back light anyways. I'll just cut them all off. I got them labeled. Should be all right. All right, so this one right here is gonna be for the blinker, and this one is for the fog light. So let's do this blinker one first. Get rid of the wire here. Make sure you don't forget. Strip it back a little bit. Put the waterproof rubber on there. Now we have to make sure. All right, so that's the blinker, right? The blinker, which would be the orange one, which is this red wire. So I need to use the opposite style, which would be this guy here. And that one gets this tube style one. Put that in there. It's so satisfying watching these crimp. And I like to just bring it all the way down to the tightest one at the bottom. Make it real tight, make sure it's not gonna go anywhere. There we go. All right, there's that one. Now we can do this side here, the fog light. I think this time I'll put the insulator on first, make my life a little easier. This one gets the opposite, it gets a pin style. A pin style connector. Give this a little smush right there. Nothing crazy, perfect. Open this stupid plug again. I feel like these plugs are too big for what they are. I feel like they can make them a little smaller. Alrighty. You know it's not good when you pull the wire and it doesn't come back out. All right, so there's the connectors. Now I think I'm actually just gonna solder on another piece of length of brown wire here, and then I'll put a hoop connector on it so I can just ground out to the back side of the light when I bolt on the lights, if you know what I mean. And then that'll be that one. There's that one, and boom. There we go. All right, get my ground here extended a little bit. Do my typical routine here, I just kind of swivel it around itself here. And we'll get my extra pair of hands. These things work great. Maybe not right here where it's a weird spot, but it's good. And that's all you really need. You don't have to really go nuts with this. Well, I don't like to go too nuts with the solder anyways. Unless it's like a thicker gauge wire. Probably just copy the length of one of these other wires here. I actually don't even like these style butt connectors. I hate them, but they get the job done. I always feel like after I crimp them, they're gonna like fall out. Mainly because I have to use a different style crimper. If I use those other red ones I have, it literally crushes the plastic on these and it makes it look like crap. So I take these old school yellow ones and just give it 2 crimps like that, and that's usually good. Pull test. I thought that was gonna fit, but apparently it doesn't. Oh, what the F? Well, that's annoying. Let's see if I can just make it a little smaller. It's like it's made for like an 18 gauge or a 16 gauge wire, but then you give you this big blue plastic shielding on the outside, and then when you try to fit your heat shrink on it, you gotta squish it to fit. And then when you do get it on it, the heat shrink is so big for the wire that that's not even gonna shrink down to the wire. So it's like I don't really understand these connectors. I don't like them. But that's all I have. Oh, yeah, exactly that. See? Shit is literally trash. Okay, let's do this. I guess I could buy them without. Yeah. Let me try this. Now we're just experimenting with crimps over here. Can't pull it off, so I guess that's good. And if we're being honest, the lights are grounded out to the chassis anyway. Alrighty. So now I'm just gonna bolt this to the back of the light there, just for an extra insurance for groundness. Alright, moving on to the headlights. There's a long story. I have these lights here that I made maybe 2 years ago, and I never just made an edit because it's been nothing but a little bit of a pain in the ass. But for the last 2 other cars I've built, this is the way I would normally go. I would get these cheap eBay lights, and they're plastic in the back, and I'd cut out the centers and JB weld a projection bulb to them because I really like the look of these. These are the ones I were gonna use, but I accidentally broke one of the halo rings on the outside of the bulb here. And to be honest, I really don't like that blue, whatever that blue light is, that little thing. And I can't really find the lights I've been looking for. And what I really want to do is mimic the yellow lights I have on Mini Rick, which are the same as these, they're just yellow, but with the projection bulb that I JB welded the back. And I did find a set of yellow lights, except I didn't know that these are actually metal. Let me get a magnet here so I can show you. So this whole housing is metal. Now I could cut into it. I really don't want to because I think when I cut into it, it'll get hot and it will get rid of that reflection on the back of the bulb here. And I don't want to take that risk, at least right now. So I'm probably just going to run these as they are for the time being. They don't look too bad. I did just get one inside here. The yellow does, I don't know, I'm a big fan of the yellow here. But I think in the future, I will try to find another set of yellow lights that are plastic in the back, something I can cut into nice and easy. I just don't really want to play with the metal here. I think it could be done, but I don't want to take the risk. And these aren't like eBay lights. They're still like knockoff lights, but they're a little more expensive than your $30 lights here. So these I'm not going to be using. I have that one, and I have the other one down here in the box. Again, I made this a long time ago. I'll try and put in some footage. I have a whole edit, and it turned out I had the wrong HID bulbs for the fitment here. I ended up getting them. I do have them now. But my idea was use a projection bulb and have the blinker inside the light like I do on the green car I have there. But with this front end here, these already have blinkers, so I really don't need to put the blinkers in the headlight. I can just use the stock ones here on the car. So I'm just going to simplify this to make my life a little easier. And I'll just run these stock for now, which is very unlike me to do, but yeah, whatever. I'll figure something out in the future, but for now, I'll just get these mocked up in the car and we'll see how they do. All right, the yellow lights are growing on me. I think you can agree, they do look really good. Granted, the car is not one color yet, but they do look awesome. And I do have the grill over here. I was test fitting it. It's not gonna stay aluminum here. I'm gonna probably end up powder coating it black. I have to straighten it out a little bit. There's a couple dings and dents, but I'm gonna try and get this on next, along with the front bumper. And I just have to wire in the headlights right here. There's 3 wires. I just gotta get them connected to the plug here. I'm gonna leave the wires a little bit long and then just fish them back into the bowl here. That way there's plenty of slack if need be for the future. So we'll do that next. All right, guys, a couple days went by, maybe a week or 2, and we are pretty close to starting this car up. Since I'm not even in a car yet, but I have the battery hooked up temporarily. I got my seats all wired up here. They go back and forth on the motor here, which is nice. We'll get in here, do my key. As you can hear, the fuel pump just primed. We got blinkers. Oh, we got radio too. Keep that down. Blinkers, that side. If I hit the brake, you can see the back middle light right there lighting up in the center. The outside ones work as well. We'll do the fog light here. We'll go out to the side here, in the front. Fog lights on the bottom are on. We'll go back in here, we'll hit the headlight button. Headlights are on. Pretty good. Do the blinker again. And the other one works too. High beams. Let's see, I'll just kind of flick it with my hand here and see if it changes on the stove there. Yeah, high beams work. It's going pretty good. Let me get back in here. The heated seats do work too. Did try those. There's no way to show this on camera, but they do light up, so you just gotta take my word for it. It does get hot on my back. The windows. Close them now. Still holding it down. It does stop on its own when it should, which is great. To those limit switches. What else am I missing here? Oh, the heater. It's for this button right here. You can hear it kick on. If I have my lights off at the door, I'll just hit it with my foot here. So my interior lights are off right here, and I got my button right here, which turns them back on. And then if I let off on my foot, they come back on as well. So we're pretty close here. I got pretty much everything wired up here. I mean, even when I turn the key, I mean, this thing is basically ready to start. I still have a few things to do on the outside. I'm gonna unplug this actually. I need a real cable over there. So I got a few things left to do. I do have to finish a coolant line that goes from here to over here, which is probably take me longer to go to the store to get than to actually hook it up. I gotta put some engine oil in here. I have to put a filter on, but I think just for starting it wise, like quickly, I could, well actually no, I got one over there on the table. So I gotta do a filter, I'll throw that on. Coolant or water, just something to get it going. And then I gotta prime it. I gotta check my fuel line still, so I do have to put fuel in the car and check all my lines and make sure there's no leaks. And then I might think I'm missing something, but I think I'm missing a couple of hose clamps on my intercooler down there. But other than that, guys, it's ready to turn over. So I'm excited to see what it's going to do. If it's going to start or not, I really don't know. Yeah, I guess we're going to just have to find out and wait and see. I'm going to kind of leave the wires how they are for now. I did tuck a lot of it back here. I made this little fuse panel thing. But a lot of this is just kind of still floating around here. Not too much. There's actually a lot of extra wires here if I want to add in some more fuses for accessories, but I really don't need any like accessories. Maybe a cigarette lighter in the back for like a 12 volt or something, but I'm going to leave all this uncovered while I get this running and test driving. And then once I'm pretty confident that this is all going to work out and be safe and not light on fire, I'm going to go ahead and just wrap it all up and clean it up and hide it pretty good. So pretty excited about this. We're getting there. We're real close. I'd say probably next episode this thing will be turning over, but we'll just have to wait and see. All right, I found a couple other things I need to do first. I still need to hook up the horn. I got 2 wires back here. Where'd they go? It'd be these guys right here. These 2, this brown one and this white one, and brown and white striped one. So those ones activate the horn. Still have to run those wires to the front and just kind of slip it through this hole, make it activate that. I need a filler hose for right here for the gas tank, and it's got to be actual fuel rated hose. You can't just put coolant line there. It'll kind of gel up after a while. I do have to put my drive shaft in. Not that I need that for starting the car, but I do need that in if I want to drive the car. And then I have a oil dipstick I have to put on, which is this guy. I don't know if it's really gonna fit now that I modified the intake manifold. This was the old one, I cracked it. But I got a new one here, dipstick. I think now that'll be it. Other than that, it's basically turn the key and see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't blow up. And if you follow me on Instagram, I did do a post a couple days ago, or a week or 2 ago. It has been just over 3 years since I've started this build. And yeah, I'm excited to get this thing going. It's been a long time. All right, guys, I think I'm gonna leave it here on this one. See you later.